Welcome to Lift, a leadership podcast where we will learn, inspire, and focus together. I'm Carl Warren from Beyond Behaviour. In each episode, we will explore how to learn with purpose, inspire those around us, focus on what matters, and build strong communities together. You will gain insights that are practical and relevant for your own leadership journey. Hey, I'm Carl, and today I want to have a conversation with Suzie about something that I think a lot of leaders are going to resonate with, which is exhaustion in relation to human connection. You talk about this a bit and raised it a few times in conversations with me. So let's dig into it, Suze.
Yeah, sure. Like you say, I think it's a topic that a lot of leaders can resonate with. Exhaustion as a leader is something that I think many of us struggle with, and it's hard leading. It's really difficult, doing everything that a leader needs to do, managing your people, building relationships, forming connections. And when I think about the mental load that's required in order to really form authentic relationships, it's exhausting. And I'd love your support in helping us unpack why that is.
Okay, so it's not mental, it's emotional. Okay, so straight away, there's different levels of fatigue, right? There's physical fatigue, there's mental fatigue, and there's emotional fatigue. Well, relationships take emotional connection.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to develop any relational trust with someone, you've got to connect emotionally. Think about, people you followed, or people, think about who you followed and who you connected with and why you did that. It was about how they made you feel, not what you thought about.
That's a really good point.
So it's a totally different part of what you're trying to do here, right?
Yeah. I mean, I did say mental because I think you have to think about what you want to do, but you're right, it comes at a huge emotional cost.
Correct.
Because you're managing people and you're trying to work out people, you're trying to understand them.
And you've got to actually, and it is about the feelings. It's all about the feels, because how they feel with you is going to drive how they then, what they do with you. Are they going to trust you? Are they going to learn from you? Are they going to do anything with you? Are they going to follow you? That's the key bit. And so it's not compliance.
Well, that's what I was just about to ask, because my question to you would be, I mean, there are many leaders who wouldn't necessarily think that you need a connection or a relationship with the people you lead, right? So what's your take on that, and why is it important?
Okay, so for me, leadership is about building the capacity in others. That's what we want to do. We want to build capacity in other people so that they can be better at whatever they're doing. If it's just about compliance, they'll do what they're told, but they won't necessarily learn how to do it better.
Okay, so I have a question.
Of course.
We talk about being a leader means that you have followers.
Yes.
So if someone is just complying and I don't necessarily have a connection with them, but there's compliance, I may think as a leader that I'm connected, but they're just complying. What's the problem with that if they're still doing what needs to be done? Why do I need to put in the effort?
So they'll do what has to be done, but they won't commit to it in a way which is about them feeling valued and cared for. They won't commit to it emotionally. So in a weird way, it's like I'll go through the motions of compliance, but as soon as things shift or change, they won't continue the behaviour because there was never any emotional commitment to whatever it is that they were doing, i.e. following you. So someone who's doing something out of compliance is doing it because they're told to or because they have to, not because they believe in it, not because they see the value of it. Right. So if we really want to lead change in an organisation, or we really want to have people grow with us, they have to feel connected and vulnerable. They have to be willing to trust us. And all of that is about relationship. Otherwise, they're just going to comply. And they will. You'll get the job done up to a certain point, but it won't stay done for long.
That's what I was thinking. It only works up until a certain point, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when things get challenging, when problems start to arise, if you don't have that connection and there isn't that relational trust, that's when problems start to emerge. Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but what you tend to find here is that's where there can be blame. That's where people can hide.
Correct.
That's where things are maybe not as transparent because things are happening that you may not be aware of.
Absolutely. And you will see because when the going gets tough, they'll actually leave, or they'll opt out, or they'll back off. Whereas people that are actually connected and they don't want to, they feel like they're invested in whatever it is that you're doing, they'll step forward. Right? They'll actually drive it for themselves. They'll actually take it on. When the going gets tough and you're not connected, that's actually when you back out. And in any team or any organisation, you've got to have that connection and that relational trust. The leader has to create that. It's the leader's job to create that.
It's interesting you say that, Carl, because as you talk about that relational trust piece, what I'm thinking is, so I'm the leader. If I have really built a culture of trust between me and the people that I lead, we're more likely to tackle this as a problem to be solved collectively. Whereas I think what a lot of leaders can do, right, is pin themselves in a corner where, because they're unsure about how to solve the problem, it can be easier to then point finger and blame rather than creating a culture of mutual trust and connection and problem solving.
Okay, so your scenario, Sue, you're describing a leader who's put themselves in a corner, but the only way out of that corner is with their own vulnerability. Right? They have to step out of it by being vulnerable themselves and saying, I don't know. It's so hard to do. And certain styles of leadership, people will think they've got to have all the answers. That isn't vulnerable. Right? Thinking you've got to have all the answers means that no one can do that. So I've got to then be able to say and be willing to say to my people, I don't know, let's work it out collectively, let's work it out together, and model that so that they can then do it with me.
So when you say that, because vulnerability is a huge piece, as you just mentioned, I think for a leader, if we're talking about vulnerability, that comes into forming connections and building a relationship, right? Because my question to you would be, how does a leader form connections and build a relationship? Is it about just getting to know the other person and their interests? Is it about demonstrating vulnerability, getting them to learn about you, your strengths? Like, what does it mean to you?
All of that. It is about all of that. It is about, seeing people as valuable, seeing them as, everyone's a unique individual. Everyone has their own story. You want to learn their stories. You want to be able to, connect with them at multiple levels. And so that we can then share, experiences like, being a father or being a parent, or share other connections, right? Not just about getting the job done, but actually about as humans, right? That's the bit in that. And then we actually start seeing what we value in that. I show you what I care about. You show me what you care about. And the closer those values are, the better we're going to connect.
So on that note, when we talk about your team getting to know you as a human, why is that important? Because I know, like, I've worked with people who lead in different businesses and they think that part's irrelevant. Right. So why is the human, it's got nothing to do with the job at that point in time.
It's got everything to do with the job.
Why? So help us unpack
It's got everything to do with the job, because otherwise they're just going to do the job and they won't actually feel any connection to the job at all. And as soon as they're not engaged, you haven't engaged them. It's because you engage people with their heart, not their head.
That's key.
Right? You've got to get their heart involved, because then they're going to go above and beyond for you and for your business and for your clientele, for whatever it is you're trying to do. It's the above and beyond bit that is driven by the heart, not here, right? So I want people to go, yes, this matters to me, and I don't then want to be in a situation where I'm letting my leader down.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a situation where I'm disappointing them based on our shared values or purpose. Right? All of that is relational.
Yeah.
Right.
And if I reflect on what you're saying there, I think, the best relationships are built on really understanding your people inside out from a personal perspective, but also their values from a work perspective. And that really ties in quite strongly, right?
To mine. Has to connect to mine.
To mine.
And for me too, it's about listening to them, hearing them, right? Not... people, it's very, people will say, oh, I'm an approachable leader, but you've got to listen to people. You've got to actually give that evidence that you've actually have heard them, right? Not just, fob it off or just go through the motions. You've actually got to properly invest in those people and hear really what they care about and what they value over a period of time.
How do you know that as a leader, Carl? Because I think the things that leaders can find themselves struggling with is oftentimes we may think that we've got good relationships with our people. We may think that we're approachable.
Sure.
But really, the person's talking to someone else going, oh, they're petrified at the thought of coming to us or sharing a vulnerability. How do you check in? What are the signs I need to look for to know?
Okay, so the first thing, and you're right, Sue, is that actually what matters the most isn't how I see me, but it's how they see me. If they don't think I'm approachable, I'm not approachable. If they look at me and they look at me as an arrogant, aloof individual, right, then that's actually how that's their truth, right? And so I've got to then actually work to change that perspective of me, because that's my job as the leader, because that's not going to help me connect with those people, how they perceive me. So I've got to be very aware of my role as the leader to change the tone and be very aware of the tone. That's the first thing. Understand your role. Then look for evidence of whether or not they are, right?
So can I share an example there to see whether we're talking about the same thing here, right? I know oftentimes I know that I'm open to my people coming to me, and I have no problem with them, coming in throughout the day. However, I sometimes find that I'm in a situation where my people may not have been they haven't approached me in the past few days. And so you tend to think, oh, well, everything's fine because I'm approachable. But then when you check in, because things get busy and so forth, you realize they've actually been sitting on something for quite a bit, trying to solve it on their own. And then you realize, gosh, like I really have needed to check in a bit more, and perhaps I haven't been as approachable as I thought.
Okay, so because what you've got to do is approach them.
Yeah.
So you can't just rely on them to come to you.
Yeah.
How does that's too passive. Right? You've actually got to approach them and be aware of how do I go about approaching them. Sometimes it is literally by going up and saying how you're going and checking in. We've got to do that and not sit back and wait for them to come to us, assuming that that's good. No news is good news. That's not necessarily the way you want to go. So for me, it is, okay, I'm going to go and approach them. I haven't seen them for a bit. I'm going to go and check in. Doesn't mean anything's really bad. It just means I want to make sure.
Yeah.
For my own.
So I'm verifying.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Trust and verify.
Trust and verify.
So for me, the other thing I like to listen for is, okay, so how are they referring to how they feel about the job? Like in a conversation that's going on, when they're talking about things that we've now got to do, are they talking about it in terms of how they feel about it or how they think about it? What sort of language are they using when they're talking about our core business, right? Whether that's, leading their own teams or doing whatever, how are they expressing that? Because it's the language in there that will help me understand, are they being compliant, or are they connected to it in some emotional way?
Can you give me an example there? Something to help us really
So when I talk to particularly middle management, right? I talk to middle management because they're not the ones making the decisions. They're the ones that have to make it happen on the ground. And they're the ones that have got to feel connected to the decision making. Otherwise it won't work. So how they talk about, I've got to go and have this conversation. Are they talking about it because they've got to go and do it? Or are they talking about because they believe in why they've got to do it?
So again, it goes back to that compliance versus connection.
If I hear a middle management saying, oh, well, I've been told I've got to go and do that. I've got told I've got to go and talk to that teacher or whoever. I've got to go and talk to that person. They're going to do the job, but they're not committed to it. If they can say, I know I've got to go and do it, and this is why it matters for my purpose, and really something like they're invested in it.
Yeah.
They're connected to it, and it's the connection that matters.
Yeah.
It's what this is all about. So for me, that's what we're trying to do with all of this. And I then look for it and I go, okay, so I want to hear emotional connection language. Sometimes they're still saying emotionally that it's going to be tricky or hard. They're still saying, oh, I'm a bit worried about how I'm going to do it, or I'm scared of doing it. But that's an emotional state in itself, right?
Yeah.
Because what I'm listening for as a leader is, okay, so where do I build capacity?
Yeah.
Right? I don't need to build connection. They're connected. I do need to build capacity because they're talking about how scared they are of doing it, or how worried they are about doing it.
And in a sense, there's vulnerability in that right there, right? So if I'm demonstrating vulnerability as a leader, and my people that I'm leading are able to reciprocate that by talking to me about things they're concerned about or need support with or whatever, there's a reciprocal relationship there that's been modeled back and forth. I'm using vulnerability as an example, but it could be other things around things they feel safe enough to say or not to say. I think when I reflect back on my own, circumstances at times, that piece about building capacity is so important.
Yeah.
And I know through my own experiences that it's not until you've got a strong connection built on trust and safety that you really can dig deep in terms of building the capacity of your people.
Yeah.
Right.
So for me, the whole purpose of leading is to build capacity.
Yeah.
Right.
That's our job.
It's so that we can actually. That's right. And so, in fact, if the more capacity I can build in other people, in a weird way, the better the organisation is going to be. The more autonomous people can become, the stronger and deeper things are going to be driven. It becomes far better than I could ever imagine. And for me, they're my best days at work. Right. When someone's taken something and just made it their own, that's building capacity.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, is the true version of leadership. It's not getting the job done. It's watching someone do it in a way you could never imagine.
Carl, you have hit on a really big theme here, because what you're saying is it's our job as leaders to build capacity, which I totally agree. And it's not so much about getting the job done. It's about building capacity. Now, I would say there's going to be a lot of viewers who are going to find that very challenging.
Well, it is because it actually takes all the relational stuff.
Yeah.
It means you've got to invest in all of that to do it.
Yep.
You've got to trust them. They've got to trust you. You've got to trust yourself, right? Because building capacity in others, sometimes actually they're better than you.
Yeah.
Sometimes you actually lead people.
Yeah.
And I've worked with plenty of leaders, myself included, who are better than me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
My job still is to make them better than me again. And to celebrate and enjoy that. Right? That's what this is all about. It's about then the organisation doing better because everyone in the organisation is doing better. That's building capacity. Getting the job done does that for no one.
Yeah.
We just go through the motions.
I mean, over the years of my own leadership journey, I've reflected so much on, there's been times where I myself have gone, okay, maybe I didn't get that right in terms of choosing the right person for that role, right?
Sure.
And then over the years, in terms of as you start to mature in leadership and learn from your experiences and learn from people around you, you go, oh my gosh, that's on me as a leader. So if my people aren't performing, or if I'm not getting what I want out of my people, that's up to me to make that change. And that is challenging.
Okay, so, and for me, the best teams are led by the best leaders. What actually you can also get is teams that are better than the leaders themselves, right? Where they outperform their own leadership, right? But if it's a weak team, it's a weak leader.
Yeah.
Right? That's the truth, right? So if you want to build a team, you've got to actually invest in that team in terms of the connection. And then they will invest back in you. And then they'll invest in each other. But you've modeled, the leader has modeled all of that.
Yeah.
No one did it on their own.
So my question would be, right, yes, you can model all of that, but sometimes the person might generally not be the right fit.
Yep.
And so you as the like, at what point do you as a leader go? And this is something I've struggled. We've spoken about this, right? It's like, at what point do I own it as a leader and say that responsibility falls on me? And at what point do I go, you know what, we've invested in this person and they're just not the right fit?
So it is on you as the leader. Like, there's no way. Obviously, they've got a part to play in as well, but you employed them.
Yeah.
Right. So you're the person who employed that person. If they're not the right fit and you knew your own organisation, well, you've employed someone with the wrong fit. Okay. So the question then is, how do I then approach that? How do I go about that? And in how we operate, we need to help people come to that understanding for themselves.
Yeah.
Right? I have to understand it for me first. So I have to know and be honest enough with myself and say, I may have made a poor decision here. That's the truth. There's no way around that. But how do we actually help the organisation and that individual move forward now?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we have to.
Yeah.
Right? I have to own my part of that.
Yeah.
They may or may not own theirs. That's about their vulnerability or their connection, their story. But for me, I've got to own mine and then help them and help the organisation find a solution to that problem. It's proper hard, Suze.
Oh, gosh.
Right? But the first step is me saying, this is what I might have done in terms of that connection. Yeah. But that's my decision.
Yep.
Right? So, and again, I go back to, I can have that conversation more easily with someone if we've got a good connection.
Mm.
Even if I've got to be saying to them, this may or may not be the best place for you.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what? That's interesting because I think, my proudest moment of one of my in my leadership journey was being able to get someone to come to their own realization that they weren't the right fit for the job. And when I reflect on why we were able to do that in this one circumstance, I think that person really trusted the relationship and that we had the best of intentions for that person. And so that really helps.
Well, because you still cared for them.
Yeah.
So it's about caring for them as an individual and caring for the organisation as well.
Yeah.
Right. So I care totally for that individual, but it's just a bad fit. I made a bad decision. It's not even on them.
No, that's right.
Right. We've just got to work out a way to solve that and help everyone understand that it's in the best interest of the individual and the organisation for a decision to be made.
Yeah.
In a weird way, I see helping something. It's all about relational trust. And I can't make that personal. It's not about me. It's about the organisation and that individual and helping people see how that works for them. It's going to be bad for them to be working in an organisation that they don't connect with.
Yeah. And that piece about it being not making it personal.
Yeah.
That's so hard. That's where the exhaustion comes in this leadership journey, right?
Right.
Because you're constantly trying to manage yourself,
Yep.
but also do what's right for the other person or the people that you're leading.
Yep.
That is super exhausting.
So again, it's all about emotional fatigue, Suze.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I have to not make it about me, and I feel like, again, use the word feel, I might have made a poor decision. That's if I start to sit in that moment, I'm going to be going, I'm a bad leader, I'm this, I'm that. And emotionally, that's going to affect me.
Yeah.
And then I've made it about me.
Yeah. And how many times have we done that in the past, right? I think about, like I say, my leadership journey, there are times I've done that so poorly, and you get better as your experience goes on and your practice goes on. But we all struggle with that.
Totally right, because you're then emotionally in it.
Yeah.
Right. So part of the emotional fatigue is managing myself emotionally to not be emotionally in it.
Yeah.
To then give the other person what they need in terms of their own safety and their connection.
Yep.
Right. Them feeling, valued and cared for. Right. That's what I want to be doing. So that's what I've got to do. And, the way we do that, obviously, is by not making it about us and making it about a higher purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, which is not me. My purpose in my work is not me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go to work for me. I go to work for another reason.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have a question here, right?
Yeah.
I know it can be really, in the moment, it can be really tricky to, as I said, manage that dynamic of trying to do what's right for that person, but managing self. But sometimes I know in the past I've had concerns that if I'm going to be too much about doing it with kindness and compassion and honesty and trust, is that making the person comfortable? Is it making it easier for that person? I know that's something I've questioned before. I'm like, do I need to go hard at this?
Okay, so let's talk about kindness, for example.
Yeah.
Right. So kindness is a beautiful word.
Yeah.
Kindness is giving someone what they actually need to hear, not what they want to hear. So kindness isn't being nice.
Yeah.
Kindness is being honest.
Giving them what they need.
Not what they want.
Right.
So there's nothing soft about that, Suze.
Yep.
Right? It's actually really, really hard to be kind with people. It takes courage to be kind.
It's very true.
Right.
Because as you say that, I'm reminded of the fact that, okay, if I'm going to have a kind conversation, then I'm not hiding from the truth.
Absolutely right.
I'm not skirting around it. I'm being direct in telling you this is what you need to do.
And there's a lot of relational trust in that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of work in that connection to be able to have a kind conversation with someone. And it takes a lot of courage to do it because you're putting not only yourself on the line, but the whole relationship on the line. Right. But again, it's how we want to operate. It's not nice.
No.
Nice is giving them what they want to hear, not what they need.
But you're right, that relational trust makes such a difference between how that conversation might be received, right?
Absolutely.
And that can be the difference between someone understanding that you're doing it because it's what they need versus they're being targeted, or they're not trusting that your intentions are in the right place.
The other person can tell.
Yeah.
They can tell. They sit across the table from you and they know you're just being nice because you don't want to give me the truth.
Yeah.
Right? You're not being kind, you're being nice. And they know straight away. And it totally destroys the connection and the relational trust. Because the only person I'm trying to protect is me, not them.
Correct.
Right? The only person I'm trying to protect by being nice is me.
Yeah.
And we've all sat across the table and people, you're not telling me the truth.
Oh, 100%.
We all know.
It's hard.
Right?
It's hard. Like it's
terrifying,
hard. Yeah.
Right? As a leader, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's so hard to be kind.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, how many times have we sat down and scripted like exactly what I'm going to say, to be really clear on my purpose, be very intentional about what I'm going to say.
So that's clear and kind, like Brené, right?
Yeah.
So Brené Brown would say clear and kind, right? So, but it's really hard. And if you're scripting it, you're saying it's important.
Yeah.
If you're preparing it that well, you're saying it's really, really important to get this right.
Yeah.
It matters that much to me. You matter this much to me.
Yeah.
Right? This relationship matters. I want to be as clear as I can with you. I want to be kind when I'm saying it. And it's not about me. It's actually about you.
And you're right, Carl. When we have that clarity of purpose, when we're really clear and we're being kind in delivery because it's what the person needs, it makes a world of difference, like you say, in the way that conversation's received.
Oh, yes.
Right? So I have a question then. How do I build relationships, or how do I build these connections without being reactive? Now, we could talk about this until the cows come home, but what would be your biggest, one takeaway or piece of advice about that?
Okay, so the first thing is you've got to go, my goal as a leader is to build capacity in other people to achieve our purpose.
Yep.
That is my goal as a leader. So if my goal is to build capacity, I have to have relationships to do that.
Yep.
So therefore, I then have to actually put that goal, the relationship goal, really at the top of the list. The connection goal has to be there. So I have to now then look for opportunities to connect.
Yeah.
Right. So which are less reactive. I have to look for those things. I have to go out of my way. Like you said before, if people aren't coming to me, I need to go to them. Right. I can't just wait for them to come to me. That's passive. Be proactive. Go to them. I look at it and I go, okay, so I need to see and have conversations with people about what they value and care about. I need to intentionally do that very early on in any relationship and come back to that over and over again so that we're actually still maintaining that connection. So what is it, what do you really love about your work? What do you love about coming here? What are the sorts of things you enjoy? What do you do on the weekends? Right? Tell me about your kids. Everyone, tell me about your kids. Tell me about whatever. And you've got to obviously do your own version of that as well.
Yeah.
But it's that sort of just get to know the person as a human. In a very relatively natural way, be present in that, so that you actually can give them time to come to you when they want to, or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, and then I start to then go, all right, so who is it that I'm finding this difficult with? Because again, let's be realistic. There are going to be people that we connect with more easily than others. This is how humans are. Oh, you're easy. This person's a bit more tricky. What a shock. So I have to then make this more of a strategic intervention.
That is so true.
Right, I need to go out of my way
to
actually do that over there.
Yeah.
I'm not here. This is crazy as.
Yeah.
The problem is everyone will notice.
Correct.
The problem is your team will notice, oh, you really like that person and you don't like that person.
And that's why it's more crucial in that moment to really take time out to develop those authentic relationships with people. Otherwise, like you say, people will know. Yeah. People can pick it from a mile away.
Do it based on strengths. So what are they good at doing?
Yeah.
Make it authentic, right? So what do they love about their work? What are they good at doing? Find a place for them to thrive within your team, because that's what's going to make them feel like they're valued.
And again, if I use that, what you're explaining right now, that's so incredibly difficult when it's not easy to connect to the person.
No.
So it really requires time, doesn't it? Like you really have to prioritize this stuff.
It also requires your discomfort.
Yes, that too.
It requires the leader's discomfort. You've got to go, I'm going to be uncomfortable because this person's hard for me to talk to, but I'm going to go out of my way to do that and be uncomfortable for the sake, A, of the connection, but B, of my own purpose.
Yeah.
Because it's not about me.
Correct.
And you might even model that. You might even go and say, look, I know we haven't really connected yet, but let's have a chat. Right? I know, this is me. I go for the dragons. I don't know why anyone would do that, particularly at this time. But anyway, self-harming behaviour. Right? Whatever it is, I go for whatever it is, crazy stuff that you do. I go for the dragons, and I wish I didn't, but I sort of do, and I can't help it. Right?
Yeah.
So, and they then join in on that thing of, they go for the West Tigers. They're out of their self-harming behaviour. Whatever it is. So that's where you sort of like start to get that sort of thing. Yeah. So we then have a connection.
Yeah. And you're right, it's hard because then people like me, no interest in football, so good luck with that.
Yeah, so but we haven't done it about that, Suze.
No, that's right. But because we found another.
So, and it was actually easy for us because we had similar understanding and views of people to connect in a different way.
Yeah, there's other similar, but that's the point, right? You've got to find that, and you've got to make that connection.
It's the leader's job, remember. It's the leader's job to do this stuff. So if you are going to lead, this is the bit, to come back to the emotional fatigue bit, expect to be emotionally fatigued.
Yeah.
Oh, you're fighting the tide.
Yeah.
Like every leader who leads to build capacity and not just compliance is going to be emotionally fatigued.
I mean, I'm very thankful that it's not just me. I mean, clearly, with everything you're explaining, it's something all leaders face. I guess before we wrap it up, though, I have one more question.
Go for it.
My question would be, at what point, so we're understanding that in order to build the relationships and form authentic connection, that takes time.
Yeah.
At what point do you keep investing in that versus calling an issue or raising an issue or something when you may not have that relational trust and you can't afford the time? When do you get to the point where you go, I can't afford the time, I've got to make the call, or have this conversation that may be difficult?
So okay. So
does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're going to have to. You're right. No one has endless opportunities. Right. So we just don't. No one does. My responsibility as a leader, again, to build capacity, is to help everyone learn and grow. I want to be able to do that.
Yep.
That's my goal. It doesn't mean it always happens.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in my experience, it doesn't mean it always happens. And sometimes there are people who for whatever reason, we've ended up in the wrong place. For whatever reason, at a certain point in time, I can't do what I want to be doing, even if, desperately I want to do that job, I just can't for whatever reason.
Or I might just have to have this difficult conversation when I haven't had the opportunity to build a relationship yet based on safety.
And I just have to go and do it.
Correct.
But I also have to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Right. So I also have to be able to be true to myself about being compassionate for the other.
Yeah.
Right. And so I approach this conversation from a point of view of compassion then. Right. So how would I go about this conversation? Again, I have to make sure it is totally and utterly not about me. Whatever feelings I've got in this, I need to get rid of because they're not going to help. They're going to get in the way. I then need to go, so I'm going to have a conversation with this person. It's not the right time. It may not even be the right way, but it needs to be done because my purpose requires it of me.
So you still have clarity of purpose. That doesn't change.
Never shifts.
And the delivery of the conversation is still about kindness and compassion.
Absolutely right.
So you just have to go in with those two things clearly in mind. And knowing that you're doing the right thing for that person.
At that point in time, even though they may not see it.
Yeah,
and they probably won't see it. But that's okay too. Yeah. Everyone has their own story. And the times, again, I'm pretty sure we've all been on the receiving end of some of these conversations at times. I'm pretty sure we've delivered them at times, right, as leaders. They're never easy. They're never easy to receive or to give, but they take lots of courage to do. And I would want to be well prepared, well thought out, as calm as I can be, to then go and have this conversation. Not reactive. Reactive is not the time to do that. The time to do it is when I'm well prepared and thought out, because actually it's going to have impact. If it doesn't have impact, it wouldn't have landed properly.
Yeah.
Right? So it's going to be designed to have impact.
Yeah.
And the impact has to be based on kindness with compassion as its undertone. It's not about, trying to soften the blow. You can't soften the blow.
No, you can't.
You've just got to be honest with it.
Well, that wouldn't be kind then.
Correct.
Right?
Right? So, and as a leader, again, I am responsible for my preparation, my calmness, my connection to the other person, my honesty in the moment. I'm not responsible, though, for how they're going to react to that.
Yeah, that's key, Carl. That's a really good point.
Right, I'm not responsible because that's their story, not mine. Right, I've had these conversations with people, and so many times people have reacted in ways I've never thought.
Mm.
Sometimes they've thanked me.
Yeah.
Point blank, thank you so much for telling me. I knew something was wrong. But just, thank you for your honesty. Finally, someone's telling me the truth. Someone's actually giving me the relational trust that I've always wanted.
Yeah.
They've thanked me for it. And I've gone, what the heck?
Yeah.
Right. And other times I've had tears and all sorts of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But again, that's not my story. That's their story.
I know we've had these conversations in the past
have.
where I've said to you, well, you've said to me, you can't base the outcome of someone else's reaction on whether your delivery was successful or not. Like their reaction can't be the measure of the impact of my conversation, right? Because we can't control the way that the other person behaves or receives it.
It's a relationship, right? So, there's two sides to any relationship. I've got to do what I have to do based on my role, my purpose, my skill set. Obviously, that matters a lot. My knowledge of the other person. All of these things are variables that will change. Maybe my purpose won't, but those other things do. But the fact of the matter is, though, your ability to receive that story or trust or whatever it is, they're going to depend on where you're at.
Yeah, correct.
I don't know that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really thankful, Carl, as we unpack this yet again, because it's another reminder of how much energy it takes to plan these conversations, to develop the relationship, the thinking that goes into that. And it's a really good reminder that I'm not going crazy.
No.
That's part of the leadership role, right? And there'd be lots of leaders who are in the same boat, probably questioning their own ability of like, am I managing this right?
And what I want to make really clear to everyone is actually that this is part of the job. Emotional fatigue is the job, right? You can't be in a relational business, which we're all in, to build other people and be not
feel exhausted.
You're going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
It's going to come with the territory.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you got a choice of, am I going to fight that or am I going to embrace it as my core business and then do it smarter?
Yeah.
And try to be less reactive, more prepared.
Yeah.
Right? That's the choice the leader has, right? The choice the leader has, how do I respond to that? How do I actually work with it rather than fighting it? But acknowledge that it's there. Right? One of the things that we've got to do is go, right, I am going to be tired. How do I look after myself then?
Yeah.
Right? So that I can look after you, so that I can look after them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is why these discussions are so important, Carl, right? Because leadership can be really lonely. Yeah. And just the fact that we've acknowledged right now that this is a natural thing to experience emotional fatigue, for a lot of people, they might be hearing this for the first time going, oh, God, so it's not just in my head. No. It's okay to feel that way.
You're not the only one. Yeah. Actually, everyone. I've worked with hundreds of them, thousands of leaders. All of us have felt it. Everyone who leads a classroom feels, everyone who leads any adult, any child, any human feels emotional fatigue. That's what you're going to feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for unpacking that, Carl.
My pleasure.
It helps a lot.
Thanks, Suze.